everybody. Welcome back to another episode with Seller Labs. I am Nan Din. I have been I've sold $80 million plus on Amazon and an Amazon seller. And today I am going to be talking to you about the search query performance and the limitations of it. So the question we're answering is, how do we deal with the search query performance report, having too much data to download through the API? And with me, I have James. Say hi, James.
Hello.
All right, so we were going to go through this question. If you like this content, click like and subscribe for more content from this. As you can see, we're going through the series with some technical deep dives on topics that people seem interested in, and search query performance report through the API seems to be a topic that people are interested in. So we're doing a deep dive on that. So as you can see, the search query performance report is released by Amazon already. The way you get that is through the Get Reports API, and the way the parameter you get is by ASIN. You have to request by ASIN and by period. Those are two options you have. And for example, the report options by week or by month or by quarter. So that way you can request it. The problem is the data structure is like this. Let me give you an example of the data itself. Here we have a sample. It has the venue, which is who is the account, and then the ASIN, and then the start date, end date, and ASIN, and then the search query, and then the rest is just the data from the search query performance. The problem comes is that one of our biggest accounts have over 393,000 from 763 brands. And if you, let's just say each query, sometimes the query, each brand can have, well, let me rephrase it. Each ASIN can have like several hundred query, but if you average 50 query and you multiply by 12 weeks of data, it can have 235 million theoretical roles. So that's a huge amount of data. Fortunately, the way we deal with that, we'll get to in a little bit. But James, what have you been your experience working with the Get Reports API? Is there throttling or limitations that they deal with?
Yeah, so the one of the issues that you deal with here outside of the sheer volume of the data is that Amazon only lets you hit any particular endpoint so often, so which they call throttling, and they have different limits for different endpoints as to how many times you can hit the particular endpoint. But in this particular case, the report, as Nan mentioned earlier, that we use, or excuse me, the endpoint that we use is called the get reports endpoint, and that endpoint is used for all reports, not just for getting the search query performance. So that adds an extra layer of complexity because you're hitting that same endpoint to get many different reports and not just the one search query performance.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that a little bit more under the limitations section. But basically, the way we deal with it currently is we have only allowed brands that customers have requested. And this is not even for all brands. So only a limited number of brands that the customer requested. And so the actual row count for our table is 930,000 rows so far. For the brands that they have enrolled. And here are a couple of the limitations that we've come up with. James, you want to go over each, starting with storage costs?
Sure. The storage costs, generally speaking, should be pretty minimal. But obviously it does add up, and over time it will only go up as far as you're storing more and more data. So one way that we've got around that storage limitation is we only store 12 weeks or 3 months worth of data for this, so that it doesn't infinitely grow.
That's right.
Uh, And then beyond that, processing costs is also an issue, or it can also accumulate because obviously, if you're trying to download that much data, you have to process it as well. But our limitations as far as the amount of ASINs that we do, the top 1,000, like Nan was mentioning earlier, helps keep that under control as well.
So from our perspective, these should be minimum as of right now. They're minimum cost. Storage cost is relatively low, and the processing cost is low. But the biggest problem is this third one, right?
Right. So, like I was mentioning, that all goes through the Get reports endpoint, and it's not specific to the search query performance. So any report that you request through that endpoint hits that limitation. So you can only do so many, which for many accounts may not be a big deal, but if you're talking about hundreds of thousands of ASINs, and you're trying to get all of them, that would be hundreds of thousands of requests, and you would have to find a way to manage that so that you still respect Amazon's limits.
Yeah, and that's the problem we ran across is because this report you got to request one ASIN at a time, and if we have 393 ASIN, 393,000 ASIN, it means 393,000 requests per day, or if we do it by day or multiple times a day, it just grows exponentially, right? Um, and so we to give you perspective, the problem was that one of the brands has 305,000 ASIN. It was because they have a what do you call it? Custom brand. Like they have a, let's say a box, and they can print custom stuff on it, and each custom image is an ASIN. So they have a ton of brand, and then the second brand is 14,000, still a lot, but not as much as the 305,000 ASIN for that brand. So as James has alluded to, this is the main problem that we're dealing with here, and this search query performance is still new, so we're still learning how to improve it. Right now, we're only allowing customers that reach in and say, okay, we want to add this particular brand to the list of search query performance, and then we'll start downloading. We don't download for all 393,000 ASIN because that would be too much. It would break our report downloader. So how do we deal with those limitations, James?
So yeah, as I've alluded to before, we limit it to 1,000 listings per brand. So when you sign up your brand, we will take a look at that brand and grab the top sales rank, the top 1,000 sales rank based on the root category. And so those will be the ASINs that we will be downloading for that particular brand.
Yeah. So it creates a more manageable number. For example, the number of brands we have was this one, 763 brands, and not all of them have 1,000. But if uh, let's say the average is 100, then it's like what 7,000, seventy
Mhm.
thousand ASINs. Still less than the 305,000 ASIN or 393,000 ASIN, but it's still a little bit manageable because not all brands have 1,000 listings. So that's it for this deep dive into search query performance. And if you like, this is just us showing you how to solve the technical problems with the search query performance. But if you want somebody else to do it like us, we have a product called Profit Genius, which gives you access data without ever downloading report, meaning we take the SP API and we put it in a MySQL query and maintain it for you, and take the headache of maintaining a SPI connection to my SQL database for you. That's it, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.